It started up toward the front of the field. You see the carnage scattered in the corner. Matt Kenseth, Johnny Benson, Ricky Rudd was in it. Oh, look at that. Kenny Wallace, John Andretti, Casey Atwood. Is that Jeff Gordon? Can't see.
I don't think so. I think Jeff Gordon. I think that Kevin Harvick spun. I think that Jeff Gordon was able to get underneath him. I don't know that for sure. Kenny Wallace' car is on fire, but he's quickly out of the car.
Todd Bodine's car there, just barely visible on the left of the screen.
Looks like everybody's window nets are dropped down.
Gordon made it through. What a scene.
Casey Atwood climbing out.
Good news. Look at his car. All torn up. At the tracks where they use the restricted engine package, Daytona and Talladega, all the drivers talk about the big one. Harvick is out of his car. They talk about the big one, the wreck that sweeps up a large number of cars. It's just happened 3/4 of the way through the race.
Yep.
Jerry Nadeau damaged in it. He's just driven back around to pit road. There's Bobby Hamilton. See the Hans device he's getting off his neck, the head and neck restraint. One of the two that are approved and mandated by NASCAR.
And that's the second car that Hamilton has torn up this week.
I think Bobby Hamilton's telling the fire guy, hey guys, my car's on fire. How about come on over? Put it out.
Sixth caution of the 500. And it was a big one. Let's take a look at what happened. There's Kenny Wallace.
Now the car, yep.
All right, Jeff Gordon and the Kevin Harvick make contact going down in turn one.
And there we were talking about throwing the block, and that looks like what happened.
And the first 4 or 5 cars get through, and then about the 7th or 8th, I don't know, about the wherever the 43 car of Andretti, that was the next car to hit. And after that, there's no place for anyone to go.
That's right, the track just becomes completely blocked. So take another look. See well, that's kind of a little bit afterwards, but see Harvick slide back up.
How did Ward Burton get through that? Wow.
And all those cars on the inside, and then the hole closed up.
Add Jeremy Mayfield to the list of those involved, the 19 car.
Man, oh man.
Now look, let's take another look here. Jeff goes down. Kevin Harvick goes to put on the block, drives down on top of Jeff. Jeff just didn't give.
Or if he tried to get out, he didn't get out in time.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Andretti, a hard lick.
Oh, wow.
You know, same thing happened in the qualifying race between Tony Stewart.
Is that Schrader caught up in it too? Yep, Schrader got a piece of it.
Folks, just watch this and listen as you're part of the big one. On board with Jeff Gordon. We see him. All right, he goes down, tries to get on the inside of Harvick. Harvick comes down to block. They make contact. Ricky Rudd, let's ride on board with him.
This all unfolds right in front of Ricky when Harvick starts to come back down across the racetrack. He's right in Rudd's path.
You see Ricky's just falling away. You see smoke, he slows down. You can't see anything.
Hold your line, coming up across the front. Coming back down.
Oh, and
Miller racetrack.
Just gets caught behind the right rear. Almost had it cleared.
Bill Weber.
Okay, Jeff Gordon's on pit road. Missed pit road last time. He didn't think it would be open by the time they told him it was going to be open. He was past the entrance. Robbie Loomis said, I want you to come in this time. We're going to go out about 15th, but I want to get those tires off of there and check the right front. He doesn't have any right front damage. He's getting tires. He said it was battling with the 97. When Harvick came down, there was nowhere for him to go, and that's what created the wreck.
Got 11 cars so far on my list of those in the accident. That number probably doesn't include a couple who got damage and continued away.
You know, as someone said, you know, they changed the rules trying to make it safer. And again, hopefully everyone is okay, but we still had the big one. And so many of the drivers have said, cars don't cause the wreck. It's drivers that cause the big wrecks by making contact.
You're absolutely right, BP. I talked about that earlier. It's just, you know, the cars are safer. You're right. They're the head and neck restraints. We have a lot more safer race cars as far as around the drivers. But the guys make mistakes. You get in crashes like that. That's what we were talking about. Give and take. There was too much take there.
Ken Schrader took his car to the garage. You see the remains of Richard Petty's Dodge that John Andretti was driving. Bobby Hamilton's Chevy. And the cleanup continues. Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved in his third incident of the day. He got caught up in the middle of the big one that happened down in turns 1 and 2. Cleanup continues in turn number 1 after the big one. 16 cars damaged in an accident, and the inside of turn 1 at Daytona looks like a junkyard.
It all started when 24 of Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick, the 29, made contact. There you see Harvick gets bumped from behind by Jeff Gordon when he goes down to block Jeff. They make contact. He goes across the racetrack. And then along comes Andretti, and all of a sudden the racetrack is blocked. There's no place for anyone to go except into the wreck, and there's where they go.
And we talked earlier about the little mirrors guys are putting on the roll bar on their left side of the car and blocking, and how that applies to these rules in this kind of racing.
And you got to do it. I mean, that's what you have to do. You've got to use those mirrors. Here we got on board with Kevin Harvick. He moves down to block Jeff. Jeff just catches him in the left rear, and that's all it takes.
We heard the lights out when he backed the thing in the fence. Robbie Gordon and Jeffrey Bodine down through the grass.
Ryan Newman slipped through there too.
I mean, that's one place that a race car driver does not want to go, is in the grass, but if they were wise to do that.
Let's add a 17th car to that. Mike Wallace, I just saw in that view, is in that wreck too. 17 cars. Fortunately, all of the drivers out of their cars, and they're all okay. 46 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Caution at the 44th Daytona 500 after a 17-car accident down in turns 1 and 2. Here's what Jeff Gordon said after it was over.
My right front a little bit. I don't think it's too bad. I mean, he just totally tried to block me. I wasn't even really trying to get up there. That damn 97, the wild man, and I'm trying to block him. You know, and the 29 had a run, and he started to come down. Big mess up there. We're going to have to come get 4 tires on that thing, I think, Jeff.
Well, there you have it. I mean, we talked about the blocking, and that's exactly what happened.
Marty Snyder.
Well, Ricky Rudd had a very good view. First of all, Ricky, what was your view? What did you see happening in front of you? And how much blocking is going on out there?
I really couldn't tell what happened, Marty. We'd been up front there, and we came in on that last pit stop. And I had a little miscommunication. I couldn't find the pits like I needed to, so we came back out. We were about 10th when the wreck happened. And couldn't see what happened. Somebody had turned sideways, hit the fence, come back down. I drove to the bottom trying to miss it, and he hit me in the right rear quarter panel, turned me head on in the fence, and it was pretty much over after that. I really couldn't tell what happened. It was pretty wild out there, pretty typical restricted plate racing.
A lot of blocking going on.
Yeah, too much probably, yeah.
All right, Dave Burns has Kenny Wallace.
And Kenny Wallace has walked out of the care center. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, first of all, I just want to thank Pennzoil and DI, you know, but I guess everybody wants to know what the hell happened, right?
Oh, yes, please.
Had a big wreck, and, you know, it's Daytona and Talladega. You know, the same thing happened last year. 50 laps ago, we were all going for it, and I was shooting a 3 wide up the middle, and they just, I guess Harvick and Gordon got together.
Did you see the fire in your car?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I was just going low, hoping I could miss Harvick, but I T-boned him, and I was bursting into flames. I told my wife it was a fiery crash. It's a bad deal, I know it is, but what are you going to do? Little E's in there laughing. He says it's the first big crash he's ever been through in his life. I'm not happy. He's trying to cheer me up, but I think the only injury I had was to my helmet, just pulling the plug. There's more famous drivers behind me. Get some of them.
Well, and that will be Kevin Harvick walking out here in just a second. Thanks, Kenny. We're glad that he is okay. And we'll have Harvick when we come back. Alan?
All right, Dave. Got the ranks of the contenders thinned considerably by that crash. Now just 18 cars on the lead lap.
Back here at Daytona, we have caught up with Kevin Harvick, who was in front of Gordon when the whole thing started. And Kevin, looked like you were trying to hold your position. What happened?
Well, I mean, there's 50 laps to go in the Daytona 500, and everybody's trying to fight for everything they've gotten. And I thought there was enough room, and I must have just come down and caught the nose of Gordon's car. But after that, it pretty much all hell broke loose.
You hit the wall hard going backwards. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. That was the least of the licks. I think there was 4 or 5 more after that. So, you know, I just hate it for this Goodwrench team. I mean, we had a chance to win the Daytona 500, and now we got a pile of junk.
What would you do next time? Same thing. Did you get a clear call from your spotter to come down?
No, I mean, it was obviously, I don't know if everything was happening so fast, but there was no clear, there was no anything. It was just, you know, it was just back and forth, and there was a lot of things happening. So I looked in the mirror and thought there was enough room, and he couldn't have hit me very far up on the bumper, and it was just enough. I mean, you're pretty much on the edge out of control, and it's just close racing.
And in the end, your fault or Jeff's?
Well, right now I want to pinch his neck off, but I don't know whose fault it is. I haven't seen it yet.
All right, he's going to look at the tape. He'll get a definitive answer when he sees the tape roll. Alan?
Okay, thank you. Back under green with 100 miles to go when they come to the start-finish line.
And now we have a lap car of Ricky Craven between Sterling Marlin and Kurt Busch. And Busch trying to get by, finally gets a run on the outside. And I think that Elliott Sadler, the 21, 9-car Bill Elliott, I think all those guys are going to go with him and put Craven behind them.
6 of the leaders did not stop on that caution. Sterling Marlin, Kurt Busch, Elliott Sadler, Bill Elliott, Rusty Wallace, and Mark Martin did not pit. The other lead lap cars did.
These guys felt like they could not afford to give up that track position. We've seen it all day long. It's so hard to pass the leader. Sterling Marlin feels like that these caution flag laps running around the racetrack at reduced speed has given him enough fuel to finish the race.
Elliott Sadler trying to get a push from Bill Elliott, 3rd spot.
And not too many guys have passed Sterling today.
A lot of cars involved in that big accident. Here's the list. That's the first part of the list. There are more. Bobby Labonte getting behind the wall. You see Kevin Harvick, Ricky Rudd. 18 cars now damaged in that wreck. Michael Waltrip trying to make his way back up. He's in 5th place. And he's just moved by Bill Elliott for 4th. So Michael's starting to rumble again. Haven't seen him up front in a while. Not contending for the lead anyway.
See Jeff Green there in the 30 car in 7th position. Haven't seen him too much today, but here he is with just a few laps.